What's up, Grim Crew? Welcome back to the channel for another video. I am the Grim Gamer. My friends call me D. Thanks for stopping by to check this video out. The Sega Genesis very well may be my first game console that I've ever played games on. I don't remember that 100% to be accurate. If it wasn't the first, it was one of the first. And I remember playing several different games on the console back then, but growing up, by the time I really started to play games, the PlayStation had come out. My entire family had gravitated towards the PlayStation and kind of left Sega behind. But some of these old Sega Genesis games still resonate with me so much because of the memories I had from way back then. And in the last couple years, trying to collect for the Sega Genesis and play more Genesis games and rediscovering ones that I had played when I was younger has been a lot of fun. So in this video, I'm going to rank them. My top 5 favorite Sega Genesis games of all time. So let's take a look. Sonic and Knuckles takes me back to my childhood, as most of the games on this list do. And I remember playing this one fairly often back then, and every time I hear the soundtrack from the first few levels of this game, it still just makes me smile. I've never beaten it, and I very rarely ever play the Sonic portion of it, but I play this game for Knuckles. I mean, Sonic is cool and all, but I've always loved that Knuckles can stick to and climb up walls, and that he has that glide that he can perform, just glide through the air. And you can kind of combine those things. You leap off something, glide somewhere, and then just stick to the wall and climb up. And it just made Knuckles so much cooler than Sonic. And Knuckles became my favorite character back then because of that. Until Shadow came along, but hey, that's a whole nother story. I also love that the Sonic and Knuckles cartridge had that lock-on technology, so you can combine Sonic and Knuckles with Sonic 3 to basically combine the two games into one, plus you can take Knuckles and make him a playable character in Sonic 2 by combining the Sonic 2 cartridge with Sonic and Knuckles. So it just, you know, it made that so much cooler. I'm really surprised that that lock-on technology wasn't ever used for anything else, but that's also a different topic for another day. But I don't play Sonic games too often, partially because I'm not that great at them. I don't have the patience for them. But when I do, I typically reach for Sonic and Knuckles, and I have a fun time every single time I play it. I discovered Comix Zone several years ago thanks to Sonic's Ultimate Genesis collection on the PlayStation 3, and it immediately turned into one of my favorite Genesis games. To me, there's nothing else quite like it on the Genesis, or anywhere else really for that matter now that I think of it. It's a beat-em-up at the end of the day, but its story and its setting makes it stand apart from anything else. You play as Sketch Turner, and you get sucked into a comic book that you're creating. You have to traverse the comic page by page, panel by panel, trying to stop the villain from the comic, Mortis, and try to escape. Each time you play can be a little different, as some of the panels allow you to jump to a couple different panels on the page, so depending on which way you choose and which way you choose to traverse through the page or the level, it changes up and it's a little bit different. It gives you different paths. And as you go, Mortis, trying to stop you of course, actually draws in his own minions that you have to fight. And it's a brilliant concept, and it makes for a very unique experience. The soundtrack fits, and visually I think it still looks great to this day. The fighting mechanics are sound, you pick up items to help you along, and you can even hold the attack button and rip apart part of the background off the wall, turn it into a paper airplane, and use it as a weapon, which I think is absolutely brilliant. The only downside is that you only get one life, so you die, you start over. Now, that PS3 version that I was just mentioning on that Genesis collection, you can make manual saves and just save your progress, so if you die, you just reload your save and try again, so that helps a little bit. But the original, no such luck. Still, it's a unique beat-em-up that I absolutely love, and I think it's a real shame that we never got a sequel to this one. But I still love it. The original Road Rash for the Genesis is possibly the first racing game I've ever played. I don't really remember that for fact or anything, but this is the earliest one that I think that I really remember. But even then, my memory of this one is a bit foggy. The one I remember playing the most growing up was on PC, but this one, obviously, I had played first even years before that. And after many years, I had almost forgotten about Road Rash entirely. I mean, we haven't gotten an official new Road Rash in 25 years. But a couple of years ago, when my buddy and I were looking to open a game shop of our own, I had bought a Genesis for the shop. And he and I were just looking at some games one day, and he bought me this copy of the original Road Rash. And I was so excited that I'd finally get a chance to play Road Rash again. I fired it up as soon as I could, and I realized this isn't the one I remembered. It was a PC one that I remembered. But I wasn't disappointed, because seeing this again unlocked a memory in the back of my mind that I had long forgotten about playing this one when I was a kid. And now, when I go back and want to play some Road Rash, it's usually this one. Visually, it doesn't look great these days, and as long as the music is playing, you don't get to hear the bike or anything, but some of these tracks are amazing, and I don't mind it. I can just jam out as I'm playing, because some of these tracks slap. The draw distance isn't really all that impressive, and it gets really difficult the further you go, and yet, I love this game. Flying down the road on two wheels, flirting with disaster with the traffic, fist fighting your opponents, trying to outrun the cops, and just doing everything you can possibly do to cross that line first. It's so much fun, and I have a blast with it every time I play this game. I couldn't help but put it on this list. Streets of Rage 2 is another one from my childhood, and this is one that I'd actually forgotten about altogether at one point. I had rediscovered this one with that same Genesis collection on the PlayStation 3 that I had mentioned earlier, and I had felt ashamed that I had forgotten about it, because it's so good. Now, I enjoy all of the Streets of Rage games, and as much as I enjoy my beat-em-up games, which is one of my favorite genres, this whole series is at the top of that list. But as far as the original trilogy on the Genesis goes, 2 is where it's at. Visually, I think the game still holds up beautifully to this day. The combat still feels satisfying. The different environments are bright and colorful, and they change pretty drastically as you progress through each level, the further you go. So it never gets dull. It never feels and gets stale visually. The soundtrack, that soundtrack, mwah. Chef's kiss. Several of these tracks will live rent-free in my mind for the rest of my life, and every time I play this game, these songs come on. I can't help but bob up and down with the beat as I'm beating up the bad guys. 2 also introduced me to one of my favorite characters in the entire series with Max. His brute strength, his brute force makes me feel like a bulldozer just wrecking everyone in my path. I absolutely love this game, and I have so much fun with it every single time I sit down and play it. There was no doubt whatsoever that this one was going to make this list and be towards the top. But it's not my number one. Now, it's time for my number one pick, and it may surprise you. I know. From a guy that always says that I'm not a huge fan of platformers, and yet this tops my list? Yes. I love Kid Chameleon. Now, nostalgia goes a long way for me for this one. This is one of the earliest games that I can remember playing, and I played it to death. But it wasn't just me. Some of my fondest memories of gaming ever come from this game, and playing this as a kid with my brother and my parents until wee hours into the morning sometimes. We would trade off back and forth just to see who could get past certain levels or who could get the furthest, and we all had a blast with this one. Had I had not grown up with this game and have those memories of it, I don't know if I would love it in the way that I do, but I've always loved it, and I have never forgotten about this one. The story of the game is interesting. There's a new game in the arcade that you walk into and play, and 3D holograms change your environment for each stage. But the evil boss of the game, Heady Metal, is beating kids in the game, and he won't let them leave. Well, that's where you come in. As you go, you collect diamonds that give you certain special powers and abilities. And those powers and abilities are also linked to different helmets that you can get that help you traverse each stage. From a samurai helmet where you can use a sword, a hockey mask that lets you just chuck hatchets at your enemies, to a skull helmet that lets you drive around in a tank that shoots skulls from its barrel, and many others. This game has over 100 levels with no way to save and no level selection. It gets stupid hard the further you go. So the only way I've ever beaten it is there's a secret level warp to the final boss in the second level, but that's okay. I love it all the same. Even several of the songs from this soundtrack I love, and every time I hear them, I'm transported back to my childhood, playing this with my brother and my folks. I've played countless hours of this game over the years, and will continue to put hundreds more of it, more hours into it in the years to come, I'm sure. And for all of these reasons, that is why Kid Chameleon is #1 on my list of favorite Sega Genesis games. Well, there you have it. My top 5 Sega Genesis games of all time. Did any of these make your list? And if so, where would you rank them? Are any of these your favorite Sega Genesis games? If not, let me know in the comments below what your favorite Sega Genesis games are. And if you like this video, then hit that like button. Helps out a lot. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already so you don't miss out on other gaming content coming to the channel, whether it's more top 5 lists like this, whether it's retro game hunting, retro game unboxings, the live stream replays, or anything else that I decide to do. And speaking of the live streams, in the description box below there will be a link to my Twitch account where I stream every Tuesday and Thursday night, 11:30 p.m. Eastern start time. Play all types of games over there, everything from modern games to older games such as some of these Genesis titles. Trying to use the original hardware whenever possible. On top of that, there is a link to the Grim Beardson Discord. That is a joint Discord server between my brother and myself. He also does some streaming from time to time, and he's got a YouTube channel also where he archives all of his streams, so you can check out all of that stuff. He plays all types of different games as well. If you're interested in any of that, you can chat with us there all week long and share your own links to things so that we can check them out as well. And that's it for this video. Once again, thank you for checking this out. I greatly appreciate it. I am the Grim Gamer. My friends call me D, and I will catch y'all next time.